I'll start you off with my name, which is actually, let's just make it crazy. So my parents all my life told me my name meant love in Sanskrit, which it does.
Okay.
It also means child in Hawaiian. It also means erotic desire in in Sanskrit, which is so fun because ultimately, like, it does sort of mean love, but it's also from Kama Sutra.
Maybe
So,
Dad didn't know that one when he was picking the name.
I think they knew. They just
Or maybe he did.
they thought it would be fun. But yeah, they went with love until I was like of a proper age to just break it to me and be honest.
Oh, I see. Okay. They knew the real thing from the get-go. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah. They knew. So those are the the multiple definitions of, and then you were not wrong to pronounce it Mukama, right? Because my first name's Kama, but Kama is the proper pronunciation of that word. And so I essentially decided to call my skincare line Mukama Botanica because Mukama means child of Mu in Hawaiian. And Mu is where the name that we called our house on Maui, which, I mean, as we get deeper, everything comes back to that one place, which just was my biggest inspiration in life.
Yeah.
And so, and then we named that house after the lost continent in the Pacific, right? So all of it comes back to Mu. So child of Mu, Mukama, blah, blah, blah. That's the story.
Welcome, fellow lushes. Come on in, pull up a bar stool, and enjoy some cocktails with Dimples and the Beard.
So, jump on the boat. Jump on the boat. We're headed to
rock the boat. Rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. Rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat.
Okay. We're headed to Hawaii, maybe, or Puerto Rico, maybe. We're gonna find out. But the bar's
Can't
open.
wait. The bar's
I mean,
been
the
open,
tavern
man.
is open.
We've been open. Look at that.
Tavern is
This is
finally open.
This is my third straight tequila drink. No, it's not. It's my first.
Oh,
That's my second.
National Tequila Day.
We are filming this on National Tequila Day.
Mm-hmm.
We're the best tequila made from the
best tequila made by our guest for this episode's dad, because it's better than Cabo. So it's the best tequila.
It is better than Cabo.
Yeah, it's a very good tequila.
I did like Cabo though too. So he knows what he's doing.
He does.
And I'm sure he didn't have the same recipe, so he knows what he's doing.
He does. Well, Guy Fieri's involved this time, so he probably Flavortowned it up a little bit. Isn't that what he's mayor of Flavortown, right?
He's the mayor of anything he wants to be.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. Either way, in the meantime,
never mind.
Well,
I was going to ask.
He's waiting to think about something to say.
No, I was going to
go out there and like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment. What do you prefer, Cabo Wabo tequila or Santo tequila?
I didn't even say welcome back, fellow lushes, to another episode of Cocktails with Dimples in the Beard.
We're all over the place.
I didn't even do that yet.
That's because there's too much tequila flowing.
There is. National Tequila Day.
That's our second bottle.
Hitting hard.
It is not, but
well, it is, but not today. It's our second bottle
ever
in this fiscal year,
because we've tried some others.
Just making sure this is
the rocks we tried,
documented for tax purposes. This is our second bottle in this fiscal year.
We had a bottle of Cabo Wabo about a year ago.
Well, that doesn't matter anymore. Taxes are paid for that one.
I understand.
I'm only worried about 2023.
We just got all right. Decide.
It's a big day, though. It's National Tequila Day.
Tequila twats or not.
And today is the first day
of the rest of your life.
It is. May I finish?
Absolutely.
Today is the first day
of summer.
That was a month ago. May I finish?
Absolutely. Go right ahead. I don't know what's holding you up.
Today is the first day that this tiny little podcast of ours got a check from YouTube. That's right, folks.
$1 million.
4 less zeros. So close, though.
Don't burst my bubble.
Yeah.
Burst my bubble.
To be fair,
I already told my boss to fuck off and I quit.
Well, to be fair.
God dang it.
Hold on, I'm selling it short. there was an extra 76 cents.
Oh, no, I'm glad I did it then. I'm glad I quit.
$100.76.
Keep it rolling, people. Keep that YouTube channel rolling. Liking all the fine forms, YouTube.
And you know what? I'm going to say it.
Instagram.
We have a lot of real good
OnlyFans
episodes that have come out lately. We're not on OnlyFans yet. Well, you're not. We have a lot of real good episodes that have come out recently that don't have the views they deserve. So if you're watching this one, back up 2 or 3 and start from there, because you're missing out on some good ones.
Yeah, some good ones.
Yeah.
So
So
hardcore journalism in a few of these, and not just
hardcore journalism,
not just
Barbara
talk to-
Wawa.
beautiful ladies, which every ladies that's come on has been beautiful.
But to be fair, another beautiful lady tonight.
And another beautiful lady tonight. But we're not gonna. We'll talk about a lot of. Well, this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be for all you people out there looking for. You're a little lost. You're looking for something to settle your life down.
I am.
Self-help. Gonna prove that it's self-love is not selfish.
It's not.
And she's gonna tell us all about it and how to not feel guilty about loving yourself.
If you can't love yourself, you can't love anyone else.
You just got to know when to stop, because you can get sore and then
chafing.
Chafing. So
chafing is a real thing,
It
especially
is.
when you're how do I put this without sounding crass? A dry stroker. If if you're not dipping your palm into the Vaseline or anything, chafing can be a real thing. So I remember back in the days of teenage years when you were self-loving 3, 4, 6, 9, 12 times a day
before noon,
before noon,
before school,
and then you'd have to walk around like, oh.
You find it, for the first time, it's like a new freaking toy. You're just like, God, what do you do with a brand new toy Christmas morning?
Play with it. Well, anyway. All right.
So we're gonna learn a lot about it. We just ruined her
intro.
Her true self-love.
We ruin
self-care.
We ruin a lot of intros, and I'm glad the guest rarely watches the episode.
And I don't mind. Can you just take the first part off?
I'm glad the graph for all of our episodes does this. Here's the beginning. People are watching. It goes down like this. It does this, and then all of a sudden it goes boom. And that jump is right when we stop talking and the guest comes on every time. So I don't think we can say they love us. They love us. Did you know Mae West was a dude? I found that out today. Mae West was a dude.
Mae West was not a dude.
Mae West was a dude. Mae West wouldn't take pictures. Who wouldn't
naked?
No. She wouldn't. No, she wouldn't take pictures with
take pictures naked.
What? She did?
Yeah.
Oh. Did she have a dick?
There's
no way they were showing her vag back then.
Well, she wasn't.
You ever seen her hands?
I want to say she did.
They're bigger than yours.
Did some stuff prior to becoming popular.
Yeah.
No, she's not.
There was some other. I don't remember who.
Maybe she is. Check it out. Tell us. No, Fernando.
Yeah. Fernando, was Mae West a dude?
Check that shit out. Figure it out for us.
Shaking his head, yes.
Well, search it first. Do a little research.
You don't think Fernando has searched Mae West a few dozen times?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think he has.
Do you think Fernando?
I think this is the first time he's ever heard that name.
I was just gonna say, do you think he knows who Mae West is?
He's like, who? I don't know. He's like, I don't. What am I supposed to do? Is it dude? Is it girl? What's going on right now?
Mae West. You learn how to spell it. It's not M-A-Y. M-A-Y. M-O-U-S.
Well, there you go, people. Check it out. Let us know if Mae West is or is not a woman. Back in the day.
When was Mae West a thing?
I thought it was the 30s, 40s.
Okay.
20s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah. I don't remember who I heard was talking about how Mae West would never take pictures next to her because Mae West was so big.
Mae West would never take pictures next to her. Who?
I can't remember who.
Oh.
There was some famous, you would know the name.
Actress.
Betty Page or Dana White or some chick from back in the day that she wouldn't take pictures next to because she was just so much
Marla
bigger.
Dietrich.
No. Nope.
Well, while we figure out who Mae West would never
If
take pictures next to.
if Mae West is a beautiful woman,
I don't think she was. Anyways, well endowed. I think she just.
in what area? Shut up. Let's go.
We gotta let's go. We can never leave a pretty lady waiting.
So without further ado, I don't know. Sammy Hagar.
Hi, you guys.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
We are doing very good.
Good. What a cool space.
Thank you. Thank you. We're growing with it. We're 129 episodes in, I think. So
Incredible.
two and a half years growing
Oh my
slowly.
God.
So
Beautiful, slow and steady. It sounds amazing.
yeah. If you go back and if you watch the early ones, there's like a tiny little square on the wall that says her name, and
now you have a sick decal and all the things.
Yeah. We got some headshots from some of our more famous, beautiful guests. You know, we're working it.
Doing what we can. Fill it in.
Sorry, I'm like 4 minutes late here. My mistake.
You know what? We'll find out in a minute where you actually are, but a lot of times with the time zone, we've had worse. I'm sure. I didn't want to be that, but thank you for your patience. So nice to meet you guys.
Oh, absolutely. And we're joined by Sammy Hagar, and you are a certified holistic wellness coach. You are you owner of Mukama Botanicals?
Yeah, Mukama Botanica.
Mukama. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
so
we should let her pronounce them all.
No. It's exotic. It's not you. It's me.
I'm just happy.
We're just gonna get it wrong.
I'm happy I got the name right. So
beautifully said.
Which is a beautiful name. Where did the name come from?
Yes.
And meaning of
the Mukama Botanica, or my actual name?
Your actual
name.
Let's
go both.
Yeah. There you
go. We'll go both. Okay. All right. So I'll start you off with my name, which is actually, let's just make it crazy. So my parents all my life told me my name meant love in Sanskrit, which it does.
Okay.
It also means child in Hawaiian. It also means erotic desire in Sanskrit, which is so fun because ultimately, like, it does sort of mean love, but it's also from Kama Sutra.
Maybe Dad didn't know that one when he was picking the name.
You know, I think they knew. They just
or maybe he did.
They thought it would be fun, but like, so yeah, they went with love until I was like of a proper age to just break it to me and be honest.
Oh, I see. Okay, they knew the real thing from the get go. I got
yeah. They knew. So, those are the the multiple definitions of, and then you were not wrong to pronounce it Mukama, right? Because my first name's Kama, but Kama is the proper pronunciation of that word, and so I essentially decided to call my skincare line Mukama Botanica because Mukama means child of Mu in Hawaiian. And Mu is where the name that we called our house on Maui, which, I mean, as we get deeper, everything comes back to that one place, which just was my biggest inspiration in life. Yeah. And so, and then we named that house after the lost continent in the Pacific, right? So all of it comes back to Mu. So child of Mu, Mukama, blah, blah, blah. That's the story, essentially.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool when you can go back that far with it. And, you know, there's so much meaning to it. It's not just a simple little thing.
There's a lot going on there. So
you've got a lot going on. That's for sure. All your different certificates of everything. And what don't you do when it comes to self-care?
Self-care. Well, first of all, it's crazy that we're doing this interview today because it's International Self-Care Day.
It is.
So perfect timing, July 24th. And yeah, everything really does come back to self-care. It's just always been such an important part of my life. And you guys may know a little bit about my upbringing, being on the road with my dad and just being like literally a beautiful, well-treated piece of luggage, and just having to always take care of me and find grounding. And it just ended up becoming like just such a good practice. And whenever I needed to recenter and find myself, I would always turn to my self-care practices, and they changed a lot over the years. But I loved starting to work with people. When I first worked with someone one-on-one, it was just the most beautiful thing to witness someone coming home to themselves. And that's kind of how people ask, like, how did you manage being on the road? It's like, I was always finding home within myself. And so that's what I teach. That's my, that's all that it is with the skincare even. And then my practices and my programs, it's all about that.
Yeah.
At what age did you decide this is what I want to do?
So actually it started in 2016. So I was like, what was that? Like 20, almost 20, 19, 20. And the reason why I was actually in fashion before, and before that it was beauty. And I got my degrees in like college and all my studies in beauty industry management and fashion design. And then I got a business degree, but it was all around that. And what I always tell people now is the reason I pursued that for so long is it was the same feeling I was looking for. And a huge part of my teachings is coming back to the feeling, like get rid of all the stuff and the fluff and the material and like what is underneath, like what's the feeling? And the feeling I got from that was this inspiring form of self-expression. And I loved watching people, whether I was like doing their makeup, which I got certified to do makeup artistry when I was in 8th grade, or whether it was
in 8th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, in 8th grade.
Jesus.
And I wanted to just help people feel beautiful and confident and radiant and in love with themselves and their life. And like that experience for me, like, so it came from like a material place at first. Mm-hmm. And then it hit me once I really burnt out in those industries and was like, oh my God, these industries are kind of destroying our planet. I was like, how can we do that from the inside out? And so I came home to just a lot of practices that I was already doing kind of on the sidelines that always felt really interesting to me. Ended up pursuing all of these different certifications just for me. It was kind of like my detox from that world. And in pursuit of all of like the finding me again, all of my teachers were like, why don't you teach? Like, I don't know. And I kept saying no and no and no. And finally I just said yes. And it was the best thing I've ever done. So
this
definitely seems like it.
So it started as a way just for you to come back to grips with who you were.
Yeah.
And grew into what a career now at this point.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
Well, it makes sense with the field you're in. And where did you study?
For my different certifications or for school?
For school, or originally school that.
So I actually went to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in LA and did their fashion, their beauty, and then their business program. So did all of that and then got out of there, graduated, and then did all of my other certifications.
So being there, was it, I guess in my head, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of phony beauty going on with, you need the clothing, you need tons of makeup to be beautiful. And instead you were like, get rid of that BS and get natural beauty. Well,
exactly. It just felt like we were always searching for something, and with literally it's a bottomless pit quarterly, right? You have the 4 seasons and you're always trying to sell a new product and you're always trying to get people to believe that they need something different. And it's like, I still love fashion and beauty as a form of expression and art. Like, I think it's still incredible what people are doing, but I was like, wow, this is a never-ending loop. No one's ever going to be satisfied. And all of the promotion around it, all of the marketing around it is just, you're not good enough. You need this. And so, it started getting to me, aside from all of the like pollution and waste and all of the other things. That's a whole other discussion. That's why my skincare line is completely eco and everything's packaged in recycled packaging. Like, that was so important to me because I'm like, we don't have room for another product or another service on this planet that is taking from our resources or from our self-worth. Like, what is going on? And so, I went on a hiatus, went to my family's house on Maui Mu that I'm referring to a lot. And I was really lucky to have that space, took a summer off and was like, what am I going to do? And just through the mere act of taking that space and giving myself just permission to, I guess, be me and like not be on this kind of treadmill, I ended up, it just guided me right down this path. And now I'm always just like, I am so lucky. There's nothing more in the world that I'd want to be doing.
Well, and it's obvious that you're very passionate about it. Anybody who follows you on Instagram can see it in the lives you do on Instagram and your posts on Instagram, just how passionate you are about it. And so let's go through. You're certified in Reiki, in yoga, in meditation, and in Hawaiian healing. So we've got a bunch of different things because I'm curious about what, I mean, obviously I know what yoga is and I kind of know what Reiki is, but the other two, I'm lost. I mean, I know what meditation is.
Well, the other ones wouldn't be bad for the listeners to hear about as well.
Yeah.
And holistic as well.
Yeah.
Great.
For sure. So yeah, yoga, of course. I mean, by definition, yoga is the union of the mind, body, spirit. It's everything coming together as one. Of course, we're all familiar with like the asanas, which means the physical poses. So, downward facing dog, upward facing dog, whatever, chaturanga. We've seen it. And
a lot of sweat.
A lot of sweat. It can be a lot of sweat. It's all very deeply philosophical. And that's a piece of yoga that not everyone gets if you don't do like the training or get so involved that you really understand that it's like it's a way of life, not a religion.
I think that's a big difference for people who do it to really feel it, and people who do it like, I'm going to do it because I know it's good for me, I'm going to lose some weight, because I've tried yoga and I I don't have that mind for it. So to me, it's just this incredibly hard, difficult like I find it easier to actually physically work out than to do yoga, So
yeah.
So it's a totally different thing. There's two different things. So do you get into any of the fringe stuff? Like we've talked to people about goat yoga and hot yoga and
yes, I have tried it all. I will tell you that unpopular opinion. I think goat yoga is literally the worst thing ever.
I was going to ask, what is the purpose of it?
It's just for kitsch. And honestly, I love a random, like chaotic good time. Like, honestly, I'm all here for like, just do it because it's weird. I love that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But this is like painful. I was actually so excited to do it, but there are literally, imagine goats trampling your body. Like, it's not that fun. And they pee on you. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear.
You can swear
over your yoga mat. Like, they shit on your back. They don't give a shit. And so honestly, when I was doing it, I was like, every part of me wanted to support this, and I've left so agitated. I was like,
well, I'm going to tell you, we've talked to one other person about it, and their opinion was pretty much exactly the same. So
okay, good to know, because I really didn't hear people talking badly about it, and I don't know why people need to be slandering goat yoga. I'm just kidding. Not for all the people that are like living a happy life on their goat yoga farm. Like, love that for you, but what is going on?
So I didn't know if it was the sounds they made that were supposed to help with the meditating of it, or
no, I think they want you to put it to. I think it's a gimmick mixed with, if you're really trying. And what I started to do when I was doing goat yoga was like, okay, they've really got to put the practice into play here, and you're not supposed to be reactive. You're supposed to just let it happen. You're supposed to breathe through it, but it's like you said, yoga's already hard enough.
It is.
You don't need to go on your back.
Right.
Unless it was a way to train you to block out everything.
Sure.
Totally. That's what I mean. I think if you're really wanting advanced player, I guess do some goat yoga.
All right.
I'm going to start with the beginner stuff.
I'm going to save that for years down the road if I ever get back into yoga.
Yeah.
Fair. Completely fair. But yeah, I've done a little hot yoga. I do some on occasion. I feel like I've tried some. I would like to try all the fringy wellness things in general. Like, if I haven't tried it, I'm usually down to try it just to see like what the possibilities are, especially for my clients. Like, I love it for me, but I'm also just always interested in, my whole philosophy is there's no one size fits all. So try it all, see what happens, see what you can take out of it. Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, the goat yoga thing, obviously enough people like it because you hear about it. So it's happening. So
completely.
And good for them.
Yeah. Good on them.
They had in class, they have wine yoga.
That sounds like a good idea.
That I might be into.
Yeah.
If people do wine yoga, I've seen beer yoga. I've seen, honestly, they do it all.
Yeah.
They do it all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wait, before we go any further, we mentioned, are you in Hawaii or Puerto Rico?
Oh yeah. So at this moment, I'm actually neither at the moment. I live mostly between Maui and Orange County right now.
Okay.
And so I was in Puerto Rico for 2 years. That was incredible. And now I've just been Maui OC. I thought I would just be Maui, but then started dating an incredible person in Orange County, and my parents are here and my friends are here, and I keep coming back.
Oh, okay. All right. I was gonna say, it's got to be hard when you've got a place in Maui. It's got to be hard to leave and go anywhere else.
It can be. It definitely can be. It's the people. The people are so good that they have to know they have such a heavy weight in my life that they take me off of my beautiful island.
There you go. But you put a little responsibility on their back. You better make this worth it.
Yeah, yes. make it worth it. Don't mess it up. But no, yeah, it's been really nice. It's two wonderful places, and it's really good.
Yeah, you can't complain.
No.
Obviously you're big into the sun and the beaches and just outdoor and nature. So
always and forever.
And we'll get in. I have a couple of questions about that, but we'll get through your skills first, and then we'll get into that.
We got to say, forgot the other ones. Where were we? What was the next?
Let's talk Reiki.
Reiki is a big one, which a lot of people I think hear the word.
And I do know people that do it, and that, but I don't really exactly know what it is, I guess.
Completely. So Reiki is an energy work. They call it a touchless energy work. The practitioner can be completely out of the room, out of the space, out of the state. I do distance Reiki a lot, which sounds wild, but the idea is that energy has no bounds, and that with intention and with proper training, we can allow energy to flow wherever it needs to go. And of course, then if you're doing it in person with a practitioner, sometimes they do touch you, so it's not always touchless, but up to your consent. And it's an ancient Japanese healing modality. And basically Reiki, what's amazing is that it's just working with life force energy. And there are actually a million different kind of names for Reiki. And I always say that everyone will slander me for this, but yes, get certified to practice Reiki and learn how to really channel it. But we all have Reiki energy within us at all times, and we can learn to work with it within ourselves. So with my clients, I always like to give them back the baton and just be like, here are your tools, take it back, right? Okay. Because the idea is I don't want them to need me. I want them to feel like they have a toolkit. And so I will guide them throughout the process, but always back to, they have this all right here. They have their breath. They have their life force energy. They have their body. They have their mind. They have their emotions. They have their spirit. So this is how you guide those things. This is how you work with them holistically. So yeah, that's the principle. But Reiki energy work can be used for physical healing, emotional healing, freaking spiritual healing. It can be used for all kinds of different reasons. And I have people who come to me wanting Reiki for anything and everything under the sun. But it is such a beautiful, gentle, moving practice. Okay. So when I did my Reiki training, I did it in a few different phases, but ended up becoming a Reiki master. So it's the last level of Reiki teaching, of Reiki studies. And it was deeply emotional for me. So you'll hear me reference this a lot, and I just talk about it a lot. All of the different trainings that I did were all different dimensions of self. And it was a complete accident that happened. So when I walk through the other ones, you'll start to see this beautiful whole picture that my Hawaiian healing training was deeply spiritual. My yoga training was deeply physical. My meditation teacher training was so mental. And then my Reiki training for me was extremely emotional, because it was like this unlocking of my intuition. And honestly, through that process, I was just whoa, in touch with such a deeper level of my feeling body, my feeling nature. So that's my experience as a practitioner, but that's Reiki in a nutshell. It's hard to sum up. It's really powerful, and every person will have a different experience with it.
So my daughter started training in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
How
I'm curious.
did she,
Go ahead.
Oh, just curious. Did she cry a lot?
She does cry a lot.
So do I.
Yeah, she tells me that she does. Yes.
Wow.
During her certified in Reiki, you'll cry all the time.
She'll tell me that. And she was here actually one time doing it. She's like, "Why having her meeting?" And she was beaten on the ground for part of it, kind of bring out stuff. And she came out and she was in tears, but happy. I mean, it was like she was smiling.
Tears.
Yeah.
Sure.
Incredible.
Yeah. So she's loving it and she's been doing it. I don't know that there's a time frame, correct? I mean, there's not really a time frame of when you have to be done with your training, or to your point, how far you go. So I think she's probably not doing it as quickly as you might have.
Well, mine took actually I did it over the course of probably 2 years that it took to become a Reiki master. And I could have done it in a shorter amount of time as far as doing trainings back to back. But you're on a journey, and it's very self-led. So you're doing Reiki on yourself and you're doing Reiki on different, every year of your life up until the age that you got trained. So you're moving through intense stuff, and that can take 30 days. That could take 3 years for some people. Wow. So, it just all depends. And also every teacher teaches it differently. So I know some practitioners who are like, I never did that. But they did some other version of the experience. So deep, powerful.
So when you were doing all this training, was all this training happening parallel? Or did it all come like one at a time? Did you do yoga, then this? Okay.
Exactly. One at a time. Hawaiian healing, then yoga, then meditation, then Reiki. Okay. And it was the act of there's no good English word for it. So I always use the Hawaiian word here. It's called holo holo, which is following the poles. And that's what my whole year was. And I didn't know I was doing it. Didn't even know that word at the time. But I was just holoing my way through everything. I just would feel or somebody would be like, I feel like you should take this training. And I'd be like, yeah, I feel like that too. I'm doing it. And it just was like a yes year. So one at a time, though. I could not have done that all at the same time. Each one was so intense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned physical healing.
Yes.
Have you done that? Or how do they teach physical healing with
Reiki?
With Reiki and just the energy.
So you can administer Reiki, again, however you want. So if you want this to be an emotionally focused Reiki session, we can do that. If we want to focus on a certain part of the body, like just this morning, I had a client who is dealing with recovery, shoulder and knee. We did some shoulder and knee Reiki. And what's so incredible about Reiki is it's, again, so deeply intuitive. I don't even feel like I'm in control of it. Sometimes it's like the Reiki wants to go where it wants to go. And if you hover your hands over a physical body, you'll feel, and even anyone, even if you weren't trained, I mean, you have to start to feel the nuances, but you'll feel heat where there's inflammation in the body just by hovering the hands over the body. You'll feel little ripples of almost how I describe turbulence when you hover the hands over the body. And if you know nothing about the person lying on the table in front of you, or even digitally, I know it sounds crazy, you can feel where physical stuff is, where emotional stuff is, what needs to be cleared. And it's all interconnected. So, right, nothing happens in a vacuum. So much of our even physical pain is a result of emotional stuff. And even if it's you overstrained your body because you have this addiction to achieving, and that comes from this deep wound of not enoughness, it's so linked with your emotional stuff. So I go in a lot very emotionally, and then people find physical relief. But even if you were just let's focus on the physical, they've done incredible studies. UCLA has done incredible studies on how people recover physically with Reiki.
Oh,
yeah.
I have heard a lot about that physical ailments are held in trauma. And if you're able to deal with the trauma, you can deal with some. I mean, obviously, if you break your arm, you're not, that's not there's
limits like everything.
Yeah. Right.
But back pain or shoulder pain can be just, long held on to trauma.
Have you come across people that are very skeptical on that? How do you physically heal me with just, the physical or the energy?
Oh, of course. I mean, I think
how do you deal with that?
I think a lot of people are skeptical. And honestly, my thing with the skeptics is, okay, there's data. Even if the data doesn't register for you, one, I would never force them into a session.
Sure.
But I'll say this. I think, a really good bridge for the skeptics, because I'm as woo-woo as I am grounded, and as skeptical as I am a believer in these things. And so I always say, like, this is what actually my go-to with someone like that. I'm like, you know what? Even if it's placebo, who doesn't want some results? Like, honestly, even if it's placebo, there's studies that show. So let's take it. So that's my thing, is like, if it helps, it helps. It's not going to hurt. And give it a try. Like, if someone was skeptical about a Reiki session, the power alone of someone's attention on you, and someone's full presence with you, and someone's touch, that is so healing. There's like, even if they didn't have, even if it's like, they don't even know anything about Reiki, someone's touch is going to be healing for you, and someone's presence is going to be healing for you. And so that experience alone, I'm also very open. Like, I've even said this, and I'm not afraid to say it, that like, maybe I was just certified in holding space, but holding space for another human being is one of the most important things we can do for each other. And we need that. So take it.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? Holding space, holding each other's space, or holding space with that person?
Yeah. With and for each other. Like, I mean, it's really amazing in my sessions alone. And this is really where I discovered how important it is just to have presence with someone, is that I went in being like, my first thing was, I'm just teaching meditation. But that was before I finished all my other certifications. I'm just teaching meditation. And I had people come to me, and the whole hour or 30-minute session would go by, and we hadn't even meditated, because they were just sharing and sharing and sharing and sharing. And they wanted me to listen to all of their things. And I used to get so stressed out, because I was like, what am I scamming these people? Like, I don't even know what, like, I'm taking their money for. Like, I didn't even get a word in. Like, they just, and that used to happen to me so much. And it still happens on occasion, where I'm like, the most important thing for them right now is just to be seen and to be heard and to be held in this moment with presence, because it's crazy. But in this fast moving age, and like with our addiction to urgency and our phones and all the disconnect that's happening in society, people just want connection. And that has always been one of the hugest fundamental needs, from a spiritual, physical, mental, every dimension of self benefits from that. And so that's what I'm saying to the skeptics. If there's nothing, if there's nothing else, the kind of presence that people get from an energy work session or a coaching session or whatever is just so human. And like, when all else fails, like, we got to come back to our humanity.
Yeah. And connecting, to each other more. Yeah. We are losing that a lot.
Yeah. Completely. Isn't that the truth? I mean, that's kind of like, for us, that's part of what this is about, is
totally
just being able to talk to people who we would never have the chance to talk to,
or think about talking with.
We just had Stephanie Shepard on, who's she's with the Last Prisoner Project, and they're involved in cannabis justice reform, and just hearing her story of what she went through and stuff. And like I said, it's stuff without doing this, we would have never heard these stories. And the way it moves you,
being able to share their stories is huge for us.
Yeah. So.
Completely. Yeah. Podcast. I mean, I love the podcast movement that's been happening in the world, because conversations, talking stories, they say in Hawaii, like healing. I actually took a USC Keck School of Medicine seminar where it was all these different holistic advancements. And the number one thing that they were talking about for integrative medicine was story and conversation, and how patients heal just through story. And it was like, oh my God, that like gives me chills. Like this is like our cutting edge technology. We're just going back. Right. So I feel like so much right now is just a remembrance of, again, our humanity. Like, we've overcomplicated so much, just like coming back to the basics of being a human. That's what's healing for us. So thanks for having a podcast.
Thanks for coming on.
Exactly.
So let's talk
and positivity. And that's a big thing. That nothing, if nothing else comes from it, all your positivity is going to show through.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
So let's talk Hawaiian healing. What's the difference? Because this is one I've never heard of at all. So
yeah. So Hawaiian healing, most people haven't. And it's a really broad title for such it really, truly is broad. But I studied with a teacher on the island of Maui. Her name is Kumu Gina Ivalani Naluai. And
I'm not going to try and say that.
I was just talking about her the other day.
we just call her Ku.
Kumu, which actually does mean teacher. So we go with that. And she owns this incredible spa in upcountry Maui called Ho'omana Spa. And by the way, anybody listening to this should definitely go check that place out. If they ever go to Maui and want the true, authentic Hawaiian healing experience. Oh my gosh. And so I went there being really interested in just all of the foundations of Hawaiian healing. And so I actually learned some lomi lomi massage, some hot stone healing, which I don't do. I don't practice it, but it was just so beautiful. La'au lapa'au, which was my main interest, which is Hawaiian plant medicine. It's non-psychedelic. It's just working with beautiful botanicals and learning their medicinal properties and how to really, to me, communicate and reconvene with nature. It was just, again, like a coming back to nature. And of course, in Hawaii, they don't have really anything written. It's all done through chant and dance. And that was the training. And so when I talk now about teaching Hawaiian healing, I'm not a kumu, I'm not a native Hawaiian, of course. So I'm always sensitive to how that, to how it's done. But I teach the principles of the philosophy of Hawaiian healing, the same way that somebody would reference like the Bible or like, you know, the freaking Yoga Sutras or whatever it may be, Chinese medicine. To me, I'm so connected with the Hawaiian culture and just the way that they live their lives and always have, the connectedness with spirit and nature. And it's like the physical body is of equal importance to the spiritual body, which not a lot of cultures do. There's like a lot of shame and dogma around our bodies and like leave the body behind. And it's like, we have to drag this thing through till the very end. So we might as well work with it. So it's a really beautiful integration to me. And then my last Hawaiian healing training was with Keoni Hanalei, who is a revered teacher. I mean, a lot of the work that I do is inspired and influenced by him. And the training was called Aloha Ma, which means self-reflective love. And in that training, we went back to the ancient Mu lineages and learned how to work with our feminine, our masculine, and our non-binary, which all of us have inside of us. And all of them basically are conveyed differently, right? That's our authentic essence. And so to me, the entire training was about integration, self-love, self-acceptance, self-expression, but in a way that I had never seen it done before. Like all of these words are just such like umbrella words, but this work was like, just yes, this is the way that people need to understand themselves. And this is the work that people need to do in order to like, just be who they are. So can't say enough about that. But all of that comes from Hawaiian and Mu lineages, which are my two favorite things to work with.
Well, I think more people just need to be themselves instead of trying to be other people and or like others.
Exactly. And so much of us, and this is my teacher's words, but everything is always an imitation culture. And all we do is try to find what's worked for someone else and model that. But really like this whole experience that we did working with our different energy centers and our different our different pieces and parts was just this integration of what's already here so that we can come out in the world with it. Powerful, crazy.
Is there ever any conflicts with the different things that you're doing? The Hawaiian and then the Reiki comes from Japan, I believe, correct? Or not?
Yeah.
I mean, is there any conflict of the healings or anything or energies?
No, to me, everything just flows so beautifully. I mean, I will say that during my trainings, I had all these different teachers, right? So they all had different philosophies and beliefs. Right. And a lot of people were like, this is the way. And then someone else was like, no, this is the way. And it actually got really confusing for a while. I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in a bunch of cults. Like everybody is like, this is the only way, the one true only way. And I'm like, that actually was so inspirational for me because I studied from so many people that in different cultures and lineages that said, this is the way, that I realized, okay, there's literally no one size fits all. This is all the way. And I want to be able to merge this together in a way that works for me and my clients. And it's almost like for each client, we're just finding that perfect balance and recipe and seeing what works for them. So, and every day, that's the other thing. Like I always say, there's no one size fits all. There's also no one size fits you. Like there was a time in my life where I was meditating every minute, every day, 30 minutes morning, 30 minutes night. Just didn't even miss a beat. And then there was an era where I was like, screw it all. Like I'm not doing any of it. And that was just as healing. And then there was an era where like, and I oscillate based on what I need. And I feel confident in like my self-care and, self-study at this point, to know what I need. But that's why I'm here. I just help people know what might be the time and like what practice and what's going to serve and what's going to help them just become the best version of them.
Yeah. Well, how great to have for yourself to, have all these things what do I need this week or this day? And you can dip into each bag of not tricks, but, bag of knowledge just to help you through at any given time.
Completely. It feels really good to have it like this. And like, I can really like resource at this point, what's actually going to fit.
Yeah. So I saved meditation for the end because of the 4. Meditation is the one I could feel myself implementing the easiest into my life. It's something I've thought about trying. And my thing is I hear all about meditation. You got to sit for 10 minutes. You got to be quiet. You got to turn off all your thoughts. That's the only way it works. I can't do that.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Let me stop you right there.
I'm with you right there.
Yeah.
Turn off all your thoughts. Biggest misconception. I actually put a phone call with my sweet nephew yesterday who called me and was like, how do I turn off all my thoughts? And I was like, you don't. Nobody does. And it's so funny. I don't know where this narrative came from, but I thought the same thing. Of course, we all did. We all do. Most of us still do. Our minds are made to think. They're going to keep thinking. So the idea is that with meditation, you have one object of attention. It could be mala beads that you're holding, like rosary beads in your hands. It could be your breathing. It could be a mantra. So, right, like one word or a series of words that you're saying silently over and over and over again. It could be a visualization that you're paying attention to, but whatever you are meditating on, you're going to wander. Your mind is going to wander a trillion times. And the whole point is not to not make it wander. It's just to be aware. Oh, it's wandering, and then bring it back. And then it'll wander again because it's what it does. And then you bring it back. And then it's going to wander again, you bring it back. And you just keep doing that. And it literally is, some days it feels like a straight up war that you're like wrestling while you're just
every
trying to
time
adapt.
I've ever done it, it's been a wrestling match.
And that's okay. And then I don't even want to say it gets easier, because some days it does get easier, but then some days it's back to the wrestling match, even after like decades of a practice. So it's about meeting yourself where you are. It's about creating a sense of stillness, at least externally. And it's about just becoming aware of the workings of your mind and becoming disciplined in so many ways, because we really let our minds run the show. And I feel like I see it, I don't know, I just see it so much that it like blows my mind. I'm like, I do it too sometimes, but I'm like, you guys, like, you do get to come back and get in the driver's seat. Like this doesn't have to be the story. This doesn't have to be the emotional experience. Like, here's how we can healthily process and like let go.
Yeah.
Meditation teaches us that.
That's why I feel like my mind is always so busy that I don't know how I'm supposed to have time to focus on and work on and deal with my body, because my mind is, I'm always dealing with the shit that's in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to deal with what,
And that's it exactly, like through the mind. And so here you'll see me be like such a stand for meditation over everything. I always come back to meditation. Most of my one-on-ones are like 90% meditation, because no matter what we're working on, meditation is the vehicle, honestly. I mean, this is me being like, there's one way. No, there's a million ways. Like, if you're going to choose one, do meditation. And I actually feel like meditation should be taught like brushing our teeth. Like the way that we have oral hygiene and the way that we take a shower and the way that we should be cleaning the mind. We should be working with the mind. We should be strengthening the mind, and all of that is done in meditation. So if you can't be bad at meditation, and I love the argument, like, my mind is too busy to meditate. I'm like, you think your mind is any busier than anybody else's mind. Even if we're thinking about different, more mundane things than someone thinking about bigger things, like our minds are freaking nuts. But they can also be such a powerful tool. So this is the place to hone it. Meditation.
So what's your 2-minute tip for the newbie? What's your tip for the person who wants to sit down tomorrow morning for the first time ever? Do I do that? Do I have to do this?
No, not one bit. I mostly I will just spoil it.
This is like what you see this in movies all the time, and this is they sit cross-legged.
I could never get my legs.
I can't sit cross-legged.
Cross like that.
No need for lotus position where the legs are all finagled. No need for like a mudra where you're like fingertip to fingertip. Like none of it is necessary. You literally, to be honest, spoiler, like full exposure. I wake up in the morning. I lay in my bed in my back the way that I woke up. Then I do my meditation. I don't even sit up.
I love that. See that? Now that's my kind of meditation.
I fully lay in my bed, freaking naked. Add that. Naked in my bed, lying on my back. That's my meditation. Anybody can do it. You don't need to have a certain thing. You don't need to be wearing a certain, you don't have to wear anything at all. Like you literally just find stillness. That's it. Like, so you could be as simple as I'm setting a timer for 2 minutes and I'm just gonna breathe. And I'm just gonna try as best I can to stay with my breath, notice myself breathing, and the mind's gonna wander, and I'm bringing it back to the breath over, and I'm just gonna stay dedicated to staying with my breath until the timer ends. That's beautiful. You could have a specific kind of practice. You could do like a counting one where you're like, okay, I'm inhaling for 4, holding the breath for 4, exhaling through the nose for 4, leaving the breath out for 4. That's called Samavriti or box breath. There's all these different names for 2 minutes. Like I said, you could hold the rosary, the beads, and do the beads for 10 minutes. Like it's just about being. So there's no right or wrong. And so I created an entire library of meditations because that are as basic as that, where it's just like get your meditation in, and as broad and expansive and specific as like today I just uploaded a meditation for singles, meditation for CEOs, meditation for when you're feeling super insecure, meditation for anxious attachment styles, meditation for people who like, there's literally every meditation for sleep, meditation for wanting creative inspiration. There are hundreds of meditations I've recorded because I want people to understand that meditation is your tool and you can use it for absolutely anything you want, whatever you want to manifest, whatever you want to heal. The subconscious mind is such a gatekeeper of like magic. And when we drop into it through a meditative practice, doors that we didn't even know could be unlocked become unlocked. And so beyond just the simple practice that it's mental hygiene, you can actually cast spells. Basically. I mean, it's just the world's your oyster from your meditation cushion or your bed, whatever you do.
Sure.
So yeah, that's my whole membership portal, and I've created that for people as a resource. But there are so many resources out there like that to just every day pick a meditation and do it.
So for somebody starting new, do you recommend like you said, like a 2-minute thing? Do you recommend starting with a short amount of time and working your way up? Is that kind of?
I even say working your way up could be a goal, but it doesn't even have to be a goal. Like I say, just get in the habit like you would. That's why it's brushing your teeth, 2 minutes. If you woke up every day and meditated for 2 minutes and then maybe did a 2-minute meditation before you went to bed or in the evening at some point, you don't have to be strict about it. But like, if it helps to be 2 minutes, you would feel even just like, there's who is it? Oh my gosh, Dan, blah, blah, blah. 10% happier is his whole thing about meditation. 10% happier, even just 10% happier, but who doesn't want that 10%? And same thing with, you could just pay attention. So once you have that practice, you become that much more self-aware, 2 minutes more self-aware. And so then you get to know, do I need a little more meditation in my life right now? Do I need to like add another 15 minutes to this practice? It's all up to you. Again, there's no one size fits all, but start with 2 minutes.
That's interesting. The way you put about as you meditate, you learn to know how much meditation you need.
Then you go a little longer.
Yeah.
You do, because you're in touch. You're like, you know yourself now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect. We did that the box, I think, with my daughter. We did she invited me over. So I go into hers with an open mind and just she invites me to some stuff. Yeah. And we did the summer solstice.
Oh, summer solstice. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. She invited me for that, for a ceremony.
Cute. Oh my gosh.
And we had to center our spine, and we did. I thought it was like breathe for 4. I mean, she didn't do the box, but it sounded very familiar with that.
Oh,
and then
sure.
and then we did it with my other daughter as well. And she talked through it all while we were meditating, kind of, which reminded me of, and I listened to Dave G.
Oh, David G.
David G. Who was one of your teachers. When I listened to his recordings, it seemed like what she was doing that night. Now, that was the only time I was there with her, and we were going to do more. But so it's just, how do you, I had no idea how she came up with what she talked about. Totally.
Does she teach? Is she doing
she's not teaching yet. She's still learning. I'm her guinea pig. Me and her younger sister are kind of her guinea pigs right now.
My family was they were my original guinea pigs. So we all have to shout out to the original guinea pigs forever. Thank you for your services.
Right.
But lucky you, honestly, what a beautiful practice. And I'm sure it's been expansive. Do you like it? Are you loving it?
Well, it was really nice. I mean, again, I'm back to what you just said. I mean, I'm appreciate her asking me to do it with her, and and I think she did, because she knew I'd be not judgmental at all about it, just open, and I would do it with her, and I enjoyed it. And I said, let's do it some more. They do it. Yeah. She does it. She does every morning and every night, something. But that was a big. She talked for almost, it seemed like, good 5 minutes of just finding things, and our eyes were closed, and we drank lemon water after, and tea, and it was a whole ceremony for like an hour that we just celebrated that day of summer.
Beautiful. And how beautiful, right? Because these are what I'm talking about, coming back to nature and our humanness, because when we're living in such a we just blow through the freaking first day of summer, and the only day of summer that year, the only day of the day summer becomes summer. And every moment, I think, when we slow down and we incorporate these practices and meditation and self-care and all of that, we just start to slow down and reconnect with the sacredness of every moment. Something I also bring up a lot is when I lived in Puerto Rico for 2 years, speaking of, the one thing I took away more than anything else, more than any training could teach me, even meditation, was Puerto Ricans celebrate the fuck out of life. And it was so beautiful to watch them celebrate any random obscure holiday that isn't even a national Puerto Rican, it's not even a Puerto Rican holiday, but they're just any chance to celebrate, we're in. And oh my gosh, it was so beautiful to watch. And it really fused well with the practices that I already had in meditation and things like that, because I just realized, literally, why are we not celebrating everything? Why are we not celebrating every solstice? Why are we not celebrating every first of the month? Every freaking minute. What? This is seriously, I will never stop talking about how we're all going to die. We're dying. We're literally actively dying. Yeah.
I love how you're so positive, and then it comes to that. That's great. Even that you do with positivity.
And that was very positive.
If we don't, what the heck? We have to remember that. We are dying. So we better start celebrating the shit out of the time we have here. What is going on? We better be here, or what? Yeah. And even also the stuff that isn't celebratory. This is something else I say all the time, because I went through a really intense period last year where I ended a long-term relationship. It moved, didn't even know where I was going, moved in with my family, had all of these things happening. I literally lost 3/4 of my hair. What a mess. And I was thinking to myself, everything in me wanted to shut down and run from how painful and scary and challenging and confusing this period was for me. And then it hit me oh my gosh, this moment this is literally this is life. This is a life hardcore. And I was oh my gosh, this is the stuff that's going to help me grow. This is the stuff that's going to up level me. This is the stuff that's going to purify me. This is all happening for me. And the mantra that came to me in a deep meditation was, this is my purification, and I should be here for this. I should
Beautiful.
be here for this, because, and that is what I'm saying. So even the hardest moments, be here for that. This is like some crazy shit. You should be here for this. Like,
how beautiful for you at the young age that you're at to already have that mindset. I'll be 50 in a month, and I have finally come to it very recently. Come to the, it's not worth the time and energy. Like, well, there's only so much left, and
the negativities, it's not worth it.
Yes, I can't spend time worrying about this because I'm getting closer and closer to the end, and like you said, we all are technically,
we all are.
But to be able to come to that realization at the young age that you're at that's beautiful. I mean, that you just have so many more years to live. Like, I wish I had,
we all wish we would have had them.
Yeah.
And honestly, though, just that even you're feeling that at all, I think a lot of people just skirt through without feeling.
Yeah, never come to it. Yeah.
Right. It's just like, we gotta come to it, even if it feels scary, because it electrifies the experience in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
So you'll hear me smiling, being like, we're dying a lot.
So do you fear death at all?
It's so funny, like, yes and no. I always tell this story. This is such a stupid story, but when I was in 8th grade, I remember it, like, this one visceral moment where I was on the phone with my friend, and I was like, it actually hit me that we were all going to die one day. It actually, like, I know that, like, we all know that, but it was like, but I don't even think I'll be able to feel that feeling ever again. But it was the most, like, oh my God, I just realized, like, fully realized. And it was scary. Like, it was, but it was also, like, this is kind of like sadistic, but it was also electrifying. It was like the same thing I was saying, like, oh my God, we are here temporarily. This is literally all going to end. So, whoa. And that experience, haven't had that feeling quite like that ever again. But I don't know. I mean, when I sit in, I feel like I've gotten more comfortable. I'm also a deeply spiritual person, and not everybody has that kind of, like, faith, whether it's religious or spiritual or whatever it is. But I feel so strongly in, like, the interconnectedness of this all that I'm not that scared.
Sure.
I fear losing the people I love as I know them more than losing my own life. That's for sure. And
my biggest thing is I have a young daughter, and my biggest fear is missing her, missing what I'm going to miss when I'm gone and she continues to live, the things that I'm going to end up missing. That for me is the only real fear of death that I have. It's not for myself. It's not for, it's what I'm not going to get to see, because I had a child when I was 42, almost 42. So, you hope that you get to see the wedding, and you hope that you get to, you see her very successful and living her dream, but you don't know, you just don't know. You don't know. So
you can just enjoy what you can.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really all you can.
It's so true. And, like, it's so real and human to have that too. And, like, part of this whole thing, again, with just the presence is, just being present and welcoming all of that, welcoming the fear, welcoming the joy, welcoming the electricity, like, all that's here as a part of the experience is meant to be here. I think we're meant to be a little bit scared. I think we're also meant to be a little bit amped, and not for death, but, like, just for, like, having the experience that it is. So it really comes back to presence.
Well, you can't get around fear. It's going to be there at every turn, and you might as well run towards it.
Might as well. I love that. Exactly. That's how I live. But
yeah. I mean, I can't say I do it every time, but
sometimes
I turn and run, like,
he does it every time. People are lying if they say they do it every time.
For sure. Good, like, general rule of thumb, though.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So to touch on, because what I was saying before, the sun and the beach and this big party of your presence, and it's easy to be happy in sun. It's easy to be happy when you're frolicking on the beach and everything, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
When you're talking to two dudes in Wisconsin where it gets pretty freaking cold and dreary, and I guess I'm just trying to say what practices are ways to get around that or implement into the cold wintry blah.
Oh, of course. And this is something I'm very mindful of, sometimes almost to a fault, where I'm like, oh no, what if something like I want to talk. But I will say this, that everything, again, it really does come down to presence. It sounds so strange that, like my quote, this is my purification, I should be here for this. Like, even during the hardest times or the darkest seasons or the shittiest weather, like the worst eras of time and life and space or whatever is going on in your life, this moment, if there's, I mean, we either accept it as it is, or we find a way to change it, right? So where does that lie on the spectrum for you? And if you are having to be experiencing whatever you're going through that isn't just, beach in Hawaii, then lean in, because every experience is for you. And I've had my eras of times and spaces that felt very misaligned or very just like, or painful or uncomfortable or lonely or whatever it may have been. And ultimately, those are the moments that I was meant to be in. And so, presence. It's just presence. I know people hate that because it's like,
Well, I think people,
that's okay.
I think people hate it because it sounds so simple, but yet it's not. If it was that easy, we'd all just do it, right? I mean, but you need to work. You need to work for it and to be present. And I know for a lot of my life I wasn't, and
for sure.
And you look back and you just think about the times that you're miserable and like, I just waste, that time is time wasted.
Yeah.
And so, I get it. And, like I said, it takes time, and it takes a different amount of time for everybody. So I'm just happy. I'm just happy to finally be here.
Finally.
Oh, yes. Welcome here.
I like that. Welcome here.
Welcome here. And you can literally say that to yourself, like, welcome here. Here I am. What's going on in this moment? There's never 100% bad things. There's never 100% good things.
Right.
We just get to be with all that is. And another philosophy of mine that I love so much, it's another Hawaiian word called lokahi, which is the balance of all opposing forces. It's kind of like yin yang, but I think it's a little more holistic and like robust. It's like we get to have the good and the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, like it's all right here. And so just be in it, just be with it. And this present moment, once we accept all that there is so psychedelic and rad that like suddenly you're sitting in like a freaking, I don't even know, it just could be the worst situation, but you're like, whoa, this is, like I said, this is crazy. Like just being alive is nuts.
Right.
It could be horrible, but it's like, whoa, this is freaking nuts. It's so psychedelic once we actually become present. And so that's all. Just be present. It's gonna get.
I've heard the stupid quote, if you think life is hard, try the alternative, but it's true, right? I mean, the days that are real difficult, you think it's so bad, but it could be a lot worse. So
that's
definitely could be a lot worse.
Yeah, that's true.
I do tend to think when it's rough, I go, but I'm healthy, it could be worse. It could be worse.
Yeah.
So
totally
got to get through it. All your teachings, I know I've been to your website, but what all your teachings are offered on your website.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just, anybody listening, that they can go to and sign up for. You have quite a different, you offer quite a different courses and things.
Yes. So
what do you offer for someone that will go there?
Totally. So if you're coming onto my website, just looking for somewhere to start, it would be checking out one-on-ones. If you wanted to do that, I offer free consultations for people. That's my favorite way to work with someone, right? Because we can get the deepest, and it's really truly custom to who the person is, and we can have that presence in that moment. But if you're just like, I just want to kind of like ease in and see how it goes, my favorite resource that I've ever made is the Moo membership, which is, of course, Moo, as I've referenced. So it's all inspired by the experiences and the teachings and the realizations I've made there and through that lineage, and hundreds of meditations, hundreds of plant-based recipes that I'm just a huge foodie, but also want to be healthy. So I took it upon myself to learn how to cook in a way that was not sacrificing anything, but actually just delicious and amazing, but also healthy. And
so I'm curious, are you vegan, vegetarian?
Vegetarian.
Okay.
I do say, like teeny bit of flex in that, very small, but like not because, I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons people are. Let me just say this. I don't think there's any one size fits all with diet either. So that's another one.
1,000%.
Just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
No. And anybody who says that also, like, no. But for me, it's been plant-based, and I always think, plants aren't going to hurt anyone. They're definitely going to be a little helpful. So go in there and get creative there. But plant-based recipes, my favorite rituals, breathing techniques, even like holistic beauty tips, things from Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, and all different places that I've studied and things that I love. And so that is basically this online database of self-care resources. And then we do a monthly live stream class together. And it's such a beautiful community. And we have conversations and we do workshops, and all the past classes are on the portal too. So that's a place that I just feel so passionate. Like, it was a resource that I would have wanted to have.
Sure.
It's kind of, it just, all of the things that I've studied in one place for people to just like, not dedicate a whole year of holo and just go right there and take the practice that works for them. So that's one, the Moo membership. And then there's also my self-care school. And so self-care school, I really feel is so important for the people pleaser or the giver or the overly responsible person in your life, or you who just needs to learn how to take care of themselves. And it sounds funny, like the basics of self-care, but really, like, we don't even know. It's getting in touch with the different dimensions: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, and learning how to care for each one of those dimensions until it really becomes at least close to second nature. At least you're aware enough to where it's harder to make the mistake of not taking care of yourself because you know better now. And so it's just a bunch of different practices for you to try on. It's super guided. And then by the end of it, the idea is that you have a fully robust self-care practice. You are deeply connected with yourself, and you maybe say no a little bit more. So
which is hard to do.
It can
it's hard
be.
To break that habit of pleasing.
Absolutely it is. And so this one is just like a coming home to self.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you get all your energy.
That's it. And then you recharge, you plug it back in, and then you get back out in the world, and hopefully you keep sustaining that so that you can, like, the whole idea, right, is like fill your own cup so you can overflow.
Absolutely.
Oh, perfect.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned being a vegetarian. How was that? And then two things. How is it growing up with the Red Rocker? And how is it when he definitely loves to eat the meats and the stuff that had to be all around your house growing up?
Oh yeah. So basically I was not a vegetarian all my life. I mean, I actually ate, I ate well. We ate a lot.
He looks like he's an amazing cook.
And then all of his friends are chefs, and food is his passion. And I feel really lucky to have had that experience. I mean, honestly, I would never trade it. Like, even if I, ate like more of my fair share of like bread and like carnitas in my life than anybody ever should. Like, I am so happy with it. And I will always I still believe in moderation and balance and like having a good time, and never restriction. But it was definitely hard in high school. I mean, this is not his fault. This was a weird bridge. This is not his fault, but like being in the world of fashion, being in the world of entertainment, having food and like all of that be just the forefront, I got real mixed up, and for a couple of years really struggled with an eating disorder. And it was a lot of like binge and restrict and purge and all of these things. And I just feel so blessed now to have found what works for me, and to have a relationship with food now that's like inspiring, and like connecting with nature, and like the actual plants was huge for me. So vegetarianism pulled me because, and so I've only been vegetarian for maybe like 7 years, but when I became one, first of all, it was just an experiment, and I ended up really loving it.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like this whole, like, it was like, I just want to see what happens. But I started cooking like with plants, like straight up plants, and not like in the processed way, which I always feel like is, the best to have these whole natural foods. And by doing that, I was just like, this reconnection with plants was a reconnection with nature, which was a reconnection with myself. And I just felt this really beautiful unlock where it was really intentional to cook, and it felt like truly nourishing my body. Like I was like, I am gifting myself this delicious, beautiful creation to not only have energy, but to connect with nature and myself. And but I was not going to sacrifice the flavors, because I learned from my dad, flavor is number one, and you never, like, all the scrapings, all the juices, like toss that, you got to add it. And so I was like, I want to make sure that whatever I do, it's still as delicious, like no sacrifice needed. And now it's funny, when I'm with my dad, he cooks one way, I cook another way, but we'll cook sometimes together. And like, he is always just like looking over his shoulder, like squinty eyed at me, like, what is going on? But then he's always really impressed, like, wait a minute, this is amazing. So I think we've really inspired and influenced each other, which is
awesome. And like, and for the people who don't know, you call him the Red Rock. Sammy Hagar is your dad.
If you don't know who that is, don't stop watching and just walk away. Because come on, people.
Yeah, and I'd like to sit here and pretend we didn't know who your dad was, and we came about,
Oh no,
obviously, we're of the age. Your dad is like. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Your dad is one of the coolest human beings on earth. So
he really is, and I'm sure you've never heard that before, but.
Oh, he's a cool guy. He, as I get older, inspires me more and more.
Yeah. It seems like you have a great relationship. And that's, I mean, just from the post. I mean, obviously we don't know either of you more than that, but we lived through that. But you do seem like you have a great relationship. Yeah.
Definitely. He makes me laugh. He's shown me a lot of the things that have influenced me most today. And like, it's funny. We have like we have a bantery, fun relationship.
Perfect.
That's awesome. And you mentioned earlier, it's international. What is it? International
Self-Care Day.
Self-Care Day. It's also National Tequila Day. And we are drinking.
Look at that. What a strange paradox. Maybe International Self-Care Day should be tomorrow, so you guys can like have this day go off, and then tomorrow you like fix it.
There you go. Perfect. That's a good way to do it. Well, right afterwards.
Yeah. I care for all of the stuff. That's hilarious. I did not realize that we share that. Wow, my dad and I were rivals. We got to talk about it.
Yep. There you go. You can bring it up. I'm sure he's celebrating the day.
We'll celebrate. We can all celebrate together. Like all the things, like I said, opposing facets of life. Lokahi, beautiful. We love that.
Well, who's to say that drinking a little tequila isn't self-care?
I know what you're saying. I knew this was coming. You really tell me we can't say that. You can't, or you can't not say that is what I'm saying. You cannot say that.
Right.
So no one knows.
And it's plant-based.
It's plant-based. It's vegan. Do you?
We're living our best lives right now.
You really might. That's it. That's what I'm saying.
I gotta know if you're still in DJ school.
Oh my God, thank you for asking. So hilariously, no, I started it and I'm really ignorant. I was like, so I DJ these like unofficial dance parties online on Zoom all the time. And like, I started it during the pandemic. It was so fun. It was horrible. It was me being like, hold on, like clicking this, like the song stops and like it starts a new one. Like it was so horrible, but it was kind of like the charm of it all. And it was really fun. And I still do it. Got enrolled in DJ school, was so excited. I'm like, I'm going to be a DJ. I'm going to DJ these retreats. It's going to be these like crazy, weird, paradoxical dance parties with like deep spirituality. It's going to be so cool. And then I realized it's so technical. This is like really not, I thought it was just like cool, fun stuff. It's like hard. And so honestly, I'm not one to just stop it hard. Got a little sidetracked. I was carrying this DJ deck with me from place to place to place, and all the places I was moving. It was so hectic. And even my ex, I remember him being like, "Are you really going to keep bringing this DJ deck with you? Like, when are you going to still?" Like, it's just like, get a grip. It's a pipe dream. And I was like, "You're right." Okay, but then I met my boyfriend now, freaking DJ, and I was like, "Wait a minute."
If that's not
this is what we needed. So now he can DJ my dance parties, and they're actually going to sound good.
How does somebody get an invite to the Zoom DJ party?
Oh my God. Whenever I do them, I just post them on Instagram and I have the link out for seriously any random person off the internet to come to.
Oh, nice.
It gets weird. It gets good. It's fun.
Nice. I love it. I'm going to be looking for that.
Exactly. So everyone go follow her on Instagram and then you can check out the Zoom parties.
Stay tuned. I might do one more in the shitty way that I do them. Just for like, old time's sake. And then the next one, I'll have him actually like step up for us, for the people.
We need you. It was your word. I won't even say it, but we need you to DJ one time.
Would be awesome. I'll do it.
That would be awesome.
I'll do it. And I might take a little lesson here and there and we'll figure it out. So
yeah, I was going to say, now you have a teacher. Like
I know he's been trying to teach. So yeah, like I said, it's all coming together. We'll see what happens, but love that you asked that.
Yeah, we love finding the little nuggets that you got to dig for a little bit, and so it's always good to find something.
Oh, for sure, it was a good one.
It's fun. You've been a joy to talk with.
Thank you. You guys too. I appreciate you taking the time and beautiful conversation.
And what I was skeptic of is the over Zoom, but you could feel your energy over here, so
for sure
that online stuff, as far as healing goes, but you could feel it through
took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. So I'm in no doubt anymore.
Oh, I'm touched. Well, thank you. And even if you are a skeptic, I'll be a skeptic with you. And then we'll just one day wake up and everything will be super weird and magical and psychedelic. And you'll be like, wait, what happened?
Yes.
Okay.
I like it.
That brings me one thing before we let you go, because I'm curious. Yeah. What are your thoughts about psychedelics and what you do? Do you use psychedelics at all? Do you?
No. So good. Great question. I actually have never taken anything psychedelic. And it's a really long story. I could give you so many reasons for this. Like before, I had a weird phobia of it. And then it was like, okay, the phobia is gone. I see how it's worked for so many people. Honestly, I'm not, again, there's no one size fits all. My school of belief and study is that we can find everything we need right here. Mm-hmm. And that, to be honest, when we're working with psychedelic plant medicine, we are taking on the energy of that plant. So it's something to just be conscious of. Every plant is a teacher. So you can take a lesson from a plant. There's no problem in doing so. But when it has a psychedelic effect, it really just depends on your intention, right? Like I can see why you'd want to take a plant journey for some specific teaching. But my practice is to get closer and closer and closer to myself through the self. Okay. That's just mine. Yep. So to each their own. I know I have a really dear friend who went through a lot of trauma, just did this insane some kind of plant medicine journey that just like, now she's just like, this is it. And I can see why she was like so stuck that she felt like she needed like something to like a vehicle to take her there. Right. But my whole thing is like, even if it takes longer, I'm chipping away those pathways because I want to be able to just be there and get there through the self.
I like it. And I mean, I've had, I've used mushrooms a few times and had, you're saying, the intentions need to be good, because if you go into it with intentions that aren't, and you can have a bad experience. So, and I certainly had a bad experience, but come to find out, we talked to somebody who's a big expert on mushrooms, and come to find out we all put it together, and kind of the bad experience happened for a reason. So it did teach me something. It just took me a while.
I was going to say, even the bad ones I hear are all for something too. And that's that's the thing. Nothing is not for you. Yeah. It's just how you use it. And if you, but just consider, I always just tell people, because it is such a big topic right now for psychedelic plant medicine. It has its merit. It has its lessons. It can be incredible. But still continue to find the way through the self, because you got it all right here. That's the thing I'm always just saying is, why not? And make sure you're still working with the self.
Well, I like that thought. You have it all right here. You don't necessarily need it. It's all right here for you. So
it's definitely here.
Thank you so much again.
Gotta find it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Well, it was so nice talking to you. And again, definitely keep in touch. And you know where to find me.
Absolutely.
We'll do. I'll be trying to meditate. I'll be using some of your stuff to try and meditate.
You can do no wrong. There's no wrong way. You got this.
I love it. I love it.
And I think that's huge right there. There is no wrong way. Oh,
bye.
Well, I just feel bad. We like to have said goodbye a little.
I don't know. I don't know if that was something I said, or
what'd you say? What'd you say?
I don't know.
Or hit the wrong button, or timer went up. No, we're still going, right?
Yeah, we're still recording. I'm thinking maybe she had a dead battery or something, and
that could have been.
And she's gone.
Either way, can't thank her enough. That was a lot of fun. She was a joy to talk to, and just positive people are amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I don't know. I don't know that we've had a couple of dark things, but the positivity is really where it's at.
My positivity shines through. That was fantastic. I take a lot away from that one. So yeah. I'm thrilled that we were able to do that. So thank you, Kama, wherever you are.
This is again, we wanted to say goodbye a little more heartfelt to you, but
we'll plug for kamahagar.com is their website. I think you can just find her at Kama Hagar on Instagram.
Yeah.
So,
and her website's got her beauty line, her skincare line as well. Yeah. You can find there as well. So that'll be all tagged in there. All right. Till next time, folks.
Dun, 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 dun.
Bump.
Thank you for listening. The tavern is closed for now, but we'd love to have you back for more fun next time. Seriously though, get your asses out of here.